Dancing is more than just what happens on stage. Hi everyone, my name is Annika and welcome to the very first episode of Rhythm and Reality. I'm so excited you all decided to tune in today. In this podcast, we talk to different dancers about their experiences on the dance floor and through life. It's going to be an 8-episode series, but today's interviewee is Jordan. She's done a variety of dance styles, been dancing since she was 3, and was on the dance team for San Diego State University. So without further ado, let's give it a listen. All right, hi everyone, welcome to the podcast. Today we have Jordan here, who's here to tell us about some of her experience. How are you feeling today?
Good, how are you?
I am doing great. Excited to have you on here, first official guest, so it's exciting. But, or what was that?
I'm super excited.
Yes, I'm glad to hear that. First off, just tell me some about your experience with dance and how long you've been dancing for, just some of the different styles you've done.
So I started dancing when I was 3. It was mostly just combo classes, so ballet, tap, sometimes jazz. I'm trying to I don't want to date myself, but I was 3 in '97. So competition at studio, I feel like was kind of just starting to get bigger and starting to grow, at least in Arizona. Um, so by the time I got to age 7, like early 2000s, that's when I actually started to compete with my studio, which I feel like looking back now, it's like so different than how 7-year-olds compete. Like the world has just changed immensely, the dance world.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, I continued with studio. And then in high school, I was on the dance team, which led to college dance team. And then after I graduated college, I was done. So
That is awesome. Wow, you've definitely done a lot of dance in your life.
yes.
Yeah. Also, just for those who don't know, can you kind of give like a brief description of like studio dance just so people know what that is?
So at a studio, it's basically like if you are doing club volleyball or club soccer. So it's not involved with the school system at all. You kind of pick a studio based off of your location and like what you're interested in, and then you kind of just go from there. So it's all extracurricular. Like you're done with school, and then you would go to the studio for a couple of hours to kind of like work on technique and basics and all that kind of stuff.
Love that. Amazing. I remember growing up going to the dance loft, and it was just such a fun, just such a fun little like extracurricular, like just going to my little like dance class
Yes.
after school. I mean, that was when I was really young, but just things like that are so much fun. Do you remember what first got you into dance and just kind of sparked your inspiration for it?
Yeah, I feel like my mom had a lot to do with it. She wanted to dance a lot longer than she did when she was a kid, and so that was something that she really wanted to put me in. And then, kind of like funny story, so the nurse that delivered me as a baby, her daughter, like the nurse that delivered me had a daughter that was 4 years older than me, and so we stayed super close. Her and my mom stayed super close, and that's actually how I ended up getting put at the studio that I started at because that was where her daughter was going. So
What? That's so
yeah,
fun.
yeah,
A crazy random connection. What?
yeah.
Do you still like keep in contact with her like to this day?
Actually, I do. She lives, so we went a while with not having contact. Not having contact, but I think like growing up and it was like the 4-year age gap was kind of hard. And then I moved studios and she stopped dancing. And
Mm-hmm.
then, now there's like Instagram and so many ways to like keep in touch with people. And so we found out that when my family and I moved to Queen Creek for almost 5 years ago, she was like, we're moving there too. And now we literally live 6 minutes away from each other.
Wait, that's so
Yeah,
cool.
super cool. Especially because the dance studio that we went to was on like Bell Road and 32nd Street. So it was like in Phoenix, like nowhere near here.
What? And then you just both happen to end up
Yes.
like in the exact same spot.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
crazy. Wow.
Super deep.
Maybe you guys can like get together and do some dancing
Yeah.
sometime.
We pull out our old like recital videos and we can like pull them up for the kids and let the kids watch them. That
That's
would be
so
fun.
cute. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. That is awesome. Um, yeah. Wow, that's so fun. Um, do you think that was like part of like your inspiration for dancing was just like having her to look up to?
I do because I grew up as an only child, and so she was like a big sister to me. I think she played a big part in that and like making sure that like I felt like loved at the studio because a lot of the girls had older sisters there, which is why they were there. So I think she definitely kept me going for a while because it was just like I didn't get to see her during the day, and then it was like going to a big sister after school, which was really nice.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's so much
yeah,
fun. Yeah, I love that. I feel like dance class is just some of like the best places to make friends.
yes, for sure. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
awesome. Um, oh, also, what styles did you do as well?
So I mean, I've done. I like to say I've done everything except for ballroom, which is funny because I think that ballroom is like the one thing that I would have loved to have done, and like I feel like I would have been good at it. Like it is like more like my style. But I mean, I've done ballet, jazz, tap, hip hop, pom. I don't even like. I think pretty much everything except for ballroom is like what I've
Wow.
done. So
Dang, so you have like a big array of things that you lots of different styles there. That is
yeah,
awesome. Was there one that you liked the most or one that you weren't as big of a fan of or
I don't think I liked tap when I was little, but I was actually really good at it. I liked jazz. I always liked jazz. I wasn't a super big fan of hip hop until like later on. And then like if you ask me towards like the end of my career, so like high school and college, I loved pom. Like loved pom. Like you can ask any of the girls on my college dance team, like
oh.
that was like my thing. Like I loved doing pom. So I didn't have that when I was little, but that was definitely like my favorite later on. But I wasn't a
That's so much
big
fun.
fan of like anything that included like tumbling or like acro because I'm like 5'11", and so like my friends that were not 5'11" could like throw their bodies around. And I was like, I can't do that. Like it always took me like 2 or 3 times as long to learn any new skill just because I was like so much taller and had so much more like body to move.
Yeah, that yeah, that's relatable. I do not know how people can just do that and just like literally like flip
I know.
themselves upside down. Like that is so crazy
Yeah.
to me.
Yeah. I look
What?
back now at some of the stuff that I was able to do and I'm like, how did I do that? Like, there's no way I could do that now. No way.
No, I could never do that. So that's yeah, that's wow. Um, yeah. Palm I feel is a lot. Palm is related to cheer, right?
So it's like, I guess I would say like the only similarities is that you're actually holding like pom poms. So basically, pom is like I don't know the best way to describe it, but it's like it's very like hard hitting movement. So like yeah, you could say like when you're hitting a high V or a T or a low V, like those are also like cheer moves that you would do in like a cheer routine, like what they like when they dance in the middle of their routine. But I just liked how it was so like hard hitting. Like I was able to do that really well and like hit those positions. Um, and it just there's just like something about having palms in my hand that I was like, I am invincible. Like, you know,
Yeah.
like, But like the second you took the palms out of my hands and we had to like compete jazz or like something else, like I would get so much more nervous than like if I had palms in my hand, which was like I think it was also like it
Mm.
was a total mental block for me like later on in life, and like it was like a mental that was like a super wild like challenge for me. It was like the difference in like having the palms and like not having the palms. I don't know.
Uh-huh.
I don't know.
Absolutely. Like a kind of armor for you
Yeah,
almost.
yeah, totally. Yeah,
That's cool. That's cool.
yeah.
Sometimes I kind of, maybe it's not like palms specifically, but just like sometimes I feel like the outfit almost determines that for me.
Yes,
Like if I'm dancing, I have to be wearing something that
yes,
I think is cool and I think looks good. Otherwise, it's like the confidence is not
yes.
there as much, which is such like a mental thing. So it's
Totally.
so, yeah, that's
Yeah.
very relatable
Yeah.
for
And I
sure.
feel like the palm outfits are always the cutest, so maybe that's why.
Oh, is it similar to like the cheer thing with like the skirt, like the
So like palm would
that's so
always have like your like high school or like college like logo on the front, and then it would either be like long sleeve or like however the style was. So like I think it was partially that too, like having pride in like who you're like representing, because like you have that like logo on your chest, or your skirt or the back or wherever the logo is. Whereas like with jazz
Mhm.
and like things like that, like again later on, like competing, like it was just like a totally different costume. Like it would be like a costume that you would just like wear. Like there wasn't anything on the costume that like represented your university or your high school team. So it's just like super different. Whereas like I think those like little details a lot of people like don't pick up on, like which it gets confusing because they kind of look the same. Like there's like same moves and same things, but they're just so wildly different.
Yeah, absolutely. That's so
Yeah.
cool. Do you have many pictures from back then of like when you like had like the uniform and everything and
Oh yeah, I have so many. So my senior year of high school, again, this is like it goes by
Mhm.
so fast after you graduate, but like my senior year of high school, Instagram actually came out, like the app did. Yeah, I just remember
That's crazy.
like we would literally just post pictures of either like food, like what we were eating, or we would post pictures like in our uniforms because like it was like so cool and like so cute, like we had the cutest uniforms. So
Wow.
yeah, so
That's
many.
so fun. That's crazy to think that that's like Instagram seems like such like a popular thing now and it was just coming out back then. That's crazy.
So it came out,
Um,
or I guess I should say, like we started using it in like 2011, 2012. And then like so like my 4 college years, like it was like just becoming a thing, which was like kind of crazy to think about now because like there's people using it to like make money and like all this stuff. Whereas like back then it
mhm.
was like I'm eating Chipotle.
No, actually.
Well, no, look at
That's
now.
funny actually.
Yeah,
We take it for granted, I
yeah,
guess.
totally. Yeah,
Um, yeah, that's really cool. I also wanted to talk a little bit more about like your professional experience or just like your experience kind of at SDSU as well. Um, when did dance start feeling more competitive for you or more like serious? Like you were getting into the technical things, getting into
yeah.
college dance?
I think the studio that I started at, so I was there from age like 3 to I want to say ages like 10 or 11. Um, that studio was primarily focused on getting dancers to Las Vegas to be in like the shows in Vegas. The
Mm-hmm.
studio director there, like that was kind of her main goal. But I think things started to really shift in like the 2000s, and that wasn't really something that dancers wanted to do anymore because I think like with artists like Britney Spears and all of those people being so popular, like they made backup dancers like such a thing that I think people were starting to shift away from the whole Vegas ideal and like, oh, I could be a backup dancer, like I could go do this, like this looks fun.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I think when it really started to feel like it was like getting serious or like I could keep going, like I could keep doing this was probably like early in high school. I think like once I kind of finally figured out like my body because I was so tall, I just feel like I was constantly growing and like constantly like I'm like, why can my friend like why are my friends so much more advanced than me in dance and things like that? And it was I think purely just because like I am so tall and I just kept growing that like it's
Mm-hmm.
hard. I mean, you're trying to figure out your body and like, you're constantly comparing yourself to other people because like that's just kind of what you do in dance. Like you're in front of a mirror for hours during the day. So
Mm-hmm.
I would say like early high school, kind of when that stuff started to level out, and then like my sophomore year, I started to kind of like look at dance teams. Um, and I was literally looking at them like, oh, I think I would fit in well with this team, or I would fit in well with this team. And like, does this team compete, or does this team not compete? And then I kind of started to like level it out with like my college interests, like, oh, I want to go here, but do I think I would fit in well with their dance team, kind of thing. And then I really started to take it like really serious, like my junior year. So
That's really cool. Junior year of high school?
yes, mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah.
awesome. With that too, do you think, I know you just mentioned like you're in front of a mirror, you're like comparing yourself to others. Were there any challenges or anything like that that you felt you had to overcome?
Yeah, I think my middle school and high school years, like my home life was just like kind of in complete like turmoil. So it was like parents were getting divorced
Mm-hmm.
and I was an only child and it just was like super hard. So whereas I feel like on one hand dance kept me going, I also think on the other
Mm-hmm.
hand it was like, well, all my friends like have families and siblings and this is like so fun for them. And so it kind of started to feel like I had to make the decision in my head like, is this something I want to keep doing or do I not want to do it? Like, do I want to stop? Um,
Mm-hmm.
Actually, the two colleges that I were comparing, one was a private school in Santa Barbara, and the other one was San Diego State. So, like, completely different, like on the spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but like that private college or that private school in Santa Barbara, like they didn't have a dance team. So it was like if I choose this, like I'm done. Like I'm done dancing. Um and
Mm-hmm.
I just wasn't like I wasn't done. So I think overcoming like that mental aspect of like, are you done or are you not done? And then having to make that choice and then having to like keep going. Because you don't get to just say like I want to do this, like then you have to go do the classes and then like try out and then actually get into the school and then like if you don't make it into the
Mm-hmm.
school but you make it on the dance team, then that's like a whole thing in itself. So there was kind of just like
Oh.
it's a lot of like stressful decisions behind the scenes and everything kind of just has to like come together for it
Mm-hmm.
to like really like work out. So
Absolutely.
yeah,
That's hard. It's, yeah.
yeah,
Just like the mental dance is really just so mental and just like everything going on behind the scenes, like that's not easy. So
no. And then I had
kudos to you.
thank you. I had, and then there's also situations like in college. Like I actually ended up getting a concussion my junior year, and it was a
Wow.
couple days before we left for Florida Nationals, and like I mean, I literally could not compete. Like I had to sit in my room alone for like 2 days with the lights off. Like it was a really bad concussion. And so there's like
Wow.
there are situations like that too, where it's like when you're at that high of a level and you're doing these things that people don't see, they just see the outcome. It's like you never know. Like people get hurt all the time, and then alternates have to go in and step in and like be there for you. And then it's just like it is. There's so much mental to it that I think when you're going through it at that age too, when you're that young, like you can't even really comprehend like how much of it is mental until like
Mm-hmm.
later on. I'm like, whoa, like that was a lot. Like that was a lot to take on as like
Yeah, and you
how
still
you
like
know
that is crazy.
yeah.
Um, do you think that just like going through like those hard things, like
Mhm.
at the time, like it's difficult at the time, right? But was there something that kind of like got you through? Was it just like just like the love for dance or
Yeah, I think by the time I got that concussion my junior year, like I will say I was really burnt out. I think
mhm.
that burnout with dancers is like a huge thing that I don't think is addressed that much. When you're committing to a team that does compete at like UDA Nationals, which they call like the Super Bowl of dance, you're leaving your family and you're coming back to a campus where nobody's back at school, so nobody's there. And we would practice for 7 to 8 hours a day every day for 2 weeks before nationals.
Wow.
And that's like on top of doing the basketball games, like men and women's basketball games that were going on at the time. And um, it's a lot. Like it really is a lot. And I think by the time I got to my junior year and that happened, I just kind of got to the point where I was like, I don't know how I'm going to make it through my senior year. Um, I,
Yeah.
I was really struggling, and I actually only had like three classes, I think, my senior year until I could graduate.
That's
And
nice.
I actually put those off. Like I could have done them over summer and graduated early, but I put those off thinking that I was going to be like super ready to go senior year, like let's do this. And then it
Mhm.
ended up like all that stuff happened, and I was like, I don't know how I'm going to do this another year.
Uh-huh.
I was just so tired and like so burnt out. And we had so many amazing opportunities with traveling with like the basketball team. And when I was there, the football
Mhm.
team was actually really good when I was there. So like we have like
Nice.
football and basketball, like we're doing very well. So there were so many amazing opportunities. So then on top of school, you're traveling. Like I got to travel to Boise, I got to travel to New York, I got to dance in Madison Square Garden,
Wow.
like so many amazing
That's so
opportunities,
cool.
like Hawaii, like all these places, but like you're also trying to balance everything. And I think by senior year, I just really was like, I'm gonna do this because these are my best friends. Like they're like my sisters, like they
Mhm.
still are. And I think you kind of just hold out for them, you know. And I actually injured my ankle my senior year too, and nobody could really figure out what was wrong with it.
Wow.
But I think like I truly believe that God was like, you need to just like not like you need to just not come out and
Uh-huh.
like. So we got to that point where we were doing choreography, and I was like, my ankle is not stable. I don't know what's wrong with it. Nobody could figure it out. Nobody knew what was wrong. I did MRIs, like I did all
Mhm.
of that. I think it was just like something to do with my ligaments, but
Ooh.
I basically was just like, I can't compete, like I can't do this.
Mhm.
So yeah, by my senior year, I was still kind of doing everything else, traveling, doing the games, like doing all of that. But I also had to be really careful with my ankle. And again, like you're still balancing school and like trying to graduate college. Like it's just so much.
I don't know how you did all that. I'm gonna be honest. That is a lot.
And then I look at the girls now and I look at their routines and I'm like, first of all, I would never make this team now because you're amazing, like so good.
Well, I mean, maybe you would.
So, not now. Like I try to turn in my kitchen and my whole family's like, please stop before you hurt yourself.
Oh no.
So,
Oh my goodness.
yeah,
That is wow. Yeah, that's impressive, honestly. I'm not quite sure, baby. It was just the Lord and just
I
yeah.
think
I'm glad that you had people around you too, because just like that sense of community and just like that sense of like support that
yeah,
you can just tell these people like, hey, it's not gonna work for me to
yes,
perform this time around or compete, and they'll be understanding of that. So
yes.
I'm glad that you had that kind of environment to go back to, but still, that is a lot. So, wow,
It is.
that's so cool.
It's like it's so funny too because it's like and it's like if you like talk to someone that was like on the college dance team that competed at the Super Bowl, like UVA Nationals, like you kind of just like give each
Mhm.
other this look, like how you doing? Like 10, like it's been 10 years, like 10 years later, like are you still traumatized?
Mhm.
Like.
Are you still? Oh no.
But
Have you ever seen Dance Moms?
yes, yeah.
That's what I think of when you say
Yeah.
that.
Well, it's funny because some of those girls that were on that show are now go like on college dance teams and they're at UDA Nationals. And I think
It's
like
crazy.
from the pictures, like it seems like Abby has like been at nationals the past couple of years, like supporting some of those girls. But
Wow.
it's
That
crazy because I'm
is
like, I was watching that show when you guys were like rookies.
wow.
Yeah, yeah,
It's crazy how like things just change like that.
yes,
Wow.
totally crazy.
Um, well, thanks for sharing some of your
Yeah,
inspiration. Um, yeah, again, I'm really glad you had that community around you because that can definitely be
yes.
a huge support. Absolutely. Um, do you think, what do you think was the biggest difference or shift between studio dance and being on the dance teams?
There's such a big shift, and I feel like with everything that has changed, I think that shift has kind of remained the same. I have spoken to like parents of dancers that are trying to balance studio and like dance team, and I think back when
Mm-hmm.
I was in that position, there was it was like a power struggle between the dance team coach and the studio. Like they didn't want to share their dancers, and I do think that now there's a little bit more of a understanding between the two. Like I do feel like at studio you're getting your technique, like you're getting your core elements that you have to be able to be on a dance team. There's some dance teams that do like technique classes on the side or like require that,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't think like for me personally, like I strongly believe like you get your core technique that you need out of studio. Like you have to still be doing ballet and jazz and hip hop and technique classes
Mm-hmm.
and acro now, like all those things
Wow.
to be able to do what these dance teams like want you to be able to do.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's crazy.
yeah.
So if someone were to, let's say, just someone just goes in and they're just trying to get into a college dance team, what would your advice for them be? Would you advise them to go back and get some studio training? Do you think maybe they could learn on their own?
Yeah, I think it definitely depends like experience wise. I mean, I know like now with social media has it's just made these like competitions like dancing competitions like I mean it's like insane. Like you can go back to when I was there and there was like floor seating, like you could get a spot wherever you wanted to sit. And like now these like
Mhm.
TikTok and Instagram videos, like there is no room. People are screaming, they're turning people away from the doors like that have tickets. Like
Wow.
it has become this phenomenon that like it's just like it's insanity. Like I can't. It's so hard to like fathom like when you've been there when it wasn't popular, as popular, I should
Mhm.
say. Um, so I think it's tough because now it's like it doesn't feel like you could just like show up to an audition. Like I know that these
Mhm.
teams are like literally scouting people at like high school competitions and they're asking for videos before you can even show up to the audition because they just have so
Wow.
many people there that it's like a pre-audition to the audition. So I think like I guess my best advice would just to be like to definitely start to take it seriously. Like if it's something that even if it's just something you're thinking about, to really start taking it seriously, like your freshman year of high school. I think
Mhm.
that's when things really start to get rolling nowadays with like the recruiting process. I don't know if they're allowed to even really allowed to call it that because they're not
Mhm.
NCAA athletes technically, even though I feel like they should be from
It
my
seems
experience.
like something that you have to be like an athlete for.
Yes, yes. So
Mhm.
it's hard. I mean, I think even if you're just considering it, like you have to be on top of it, like right away.
Mm.
So
Good advice.
yeah,
Good advice right there.
yeah.
Um, what do you think was the biggest thing that you learned, like either from just studio dance or the team, like, or just in general?
Um, I think just like the value of really like responsibility. I mean, you are going, I think in college especially, like you leave to go to college and while your friends might be out doing one thing, like you have a job basically, like right
Mhm.
from the bat. And so you have to learn how to balance all these things, which I think helps me become like a great mom and a great like wife and like running a household because it's like I've been having to do this for so long. Like
Mhm.
we would practice until 11 o'clock at night during weekdays. We have
Wow.
to get up for 8 a.m. classes, so it's just like it is. It's a lot of like balancing, and I feel like if there's one thing that I learned, it's just like literally just I've always been responsible, but that was another level of responsibility where it was like this is all on you. Like you have to graduate college, you have to show up for
Oh,
your team, like you have to do all these things. So it
wow.
definitely taught me a lot of life skills, that's for sure.
I guess that's good to learn. It just, wow, blows my mind. Because just thinking about, too, like, already in college, like, I have this schedule and I have work that I have to. I can't imagine adding on practices until 11
Yeah,
p.m.
it was.
Wow.
You definitely got used to it, but there wasn't a lot of free time. So
Oh, I can imagine. What do you think, what time do you think you usually ended up going to bed? Were you, like, straight to home, like, straight home, straight to bed, or?
that's hard because I feel like you would want to like shower and then like
Mm-hmm.
after you shower, you're like, do I do homework? Like, what do I do? Do I study? It just depended on the
Mm-hmm.
day, I think, and like what I had going on at the time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Um, do you think you had a favorite memory from there?
I had so many amazing memories. So it's definitely hard to pick one. It's like always like going to Florida as a team, like you always got the best memories from that trip. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but I also think like some of the traveling that we got to do with the sports teams, like those were some of my favorite memories as well. Like I think it's so cool, and I always forget like that I did get to like dance in Madison Square Garden, which is like so cool.
Wow.
And I forget stuff like that, but then you can like pull up a
Mm-hmm.
picture and be like, oh yeah, like I did that. I got to do that. So there's a lot of really good memories. And some of the best memories I think of like my whole like life were there.
Wow. That's so
Yeah.
awesome. Madison Square Garden. Wow.
Yeah.
That's so
It
cool.
was. It was.
Um, how did that come about? Like, how did you guys, like, was it just one of the places you traveled for competition?
So the basketball team usually, I say usually because like San Diego State's always had a pretty strong basketball program. They would usually end up
Mm-hmm.
in the NCAA competition, but that one year they didn't get to NCAA, so they got to what was called like the NIT. And the round
Mm-hmm.
that they went to in the NIT just happened to be in New York. So we got so lucky because there was only like four of us that got to go, and it
Wow.
was just like the coolest experience. Like I actually got to meet a Victoria's Secret model there. Like we went to
Wow.
this like our coach's friend was like a personal trainer, and we got to go to her apartment and like Carly Kloss like walked in and we are like, hi.
What?
So I have some pretty like there's like some pretty cool stories. And even just like going to New York, like we were there for I think like 48 hours. Like it was nothing, but it was just like
Wow.
it was like the coolest 48 hours ever.
I mean, being in New York
Yeah.
too, like,
Yeah.
just like such a short period of time, but there's so much, and
Yeah.
just like,
Yeah.
oh wow,
Yeah.
yeah, I'd love to go there someday. That'd be so cool.
Yes.
Um, aren't the Rockettes in New York as
Mhm.
well?
Yeah.
Did you guys think about going over there to
I
um,
think like
see them?
the timing, I feel like we were there. I could be saying this wrong, but I feel like we were there in March. So I think
Oh,
they already had done all their shows, like their Christmas shows and everything. And I don't know if they were
mm,
doing like the other shows that they do now. And we were there like
Oh,
it was
gotcha.
just such a fast trip. Like I feel like we didn't have time to do anything, so we are just trying to fit in everything that we could.
Wow. That is so fun.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's amazing. What do you think is something that dance has taught you that applies to like real life? I mean, I know you were talking about kind of like the responsibility, but is there anything on top of that that you can think of?
I think that with dance, it's such a unique sport in that you have to be like I was saying about responsibility, but you also learn how to you have to be on top of your own technique and on top of like what you're doing because it involves a team. So it's unique in that like it's individual but also team. Like if you're not
Yeah.
staying on top of your technique or your turns or practicing your turn sequence or whatever tricks you have in the dance, like that's going to affect the team. So I think it's like
Oh.
I guess like there's I guess that kind of like involves other sports too, but I do think like with dance when you're talking about like college dance team, you're truly like you have to look like one person out there on the stage. Like
Mm-hmm.
you're all trying to look the same, which is it's so hard because it's like you're all so different, you know. So by staying on top
Mm-hmm.
of your own stuff, like you're helping your team, and I think that's such a big deal. Like later on in life, like with work or with
Mm-hmm.
family or really with anything, like you have to be responsible. You have to stay on top of your stuff so that you can work as a team with everybody else.
Easy, honestly, like easier said than done. It really is not easy.
Totally.
um, just like I bet, like while you were in college too, just learning that with like assignments at the same time. Like I bet that was like a big like time of learning for you. I can
And
imagine.
I think there was like two or three of us that had different majors, but I think most of the girls had super similar majors, so they were in similar classes. And I was in like business. I was in business and I was the only girl on the team in business. And so like that also made it really hard because I was like in such different classes than everybody else and like I had so many math classes and I had to go like I really had to like go study and like do these things like not that they did it but I think it was like a different they got to go and do things together whereas like by my junior and senior year I was like I just felt so like I was like I'm by myself like I have like no one to go to these like study sessions with like none of my dance team girls um so there's like that aspect too where it was like my major was just like so different than everybody else's that they all had classes together all 4 years and like I didn't have that with them. So it's like it's a big learning curve to be like I'm okay to be alone too and like that's like I will be fine. I can do this. Like I feel like in college you're just constantly telling yourself you're like I can do this. I can do this.
Just trying to get through the next day.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. That's cool to hear. I feel like I'm kind of like, I mean, I didn't do anything like the dance team or anything like that, but I feel like I'm kind of like in the middle of like figuring all this out right now. So it's cool to hear your perspective on it and your like advice and things that you've learned from
Yeah.
it and stuff. Um, do you think if you could go back to when you were younger at any point,
Yeah.
let's say like you're 13 years old or you're just starting
Okay.
dance, um, what advice do you think you would give yourself?
There's so much. There's so much. Like, um, gosh, I think some of the bigger pieces of advice would be to just always stay true to yourself. Like, always be kind. Um, with competition, it's always hard because there's always going to be someone that you know is doing the most and has five solos or is getting the most attention or whatever that may be and I think especially now with just the social media in our day and age but just really like always staying true to yourself and like putting in the work. Like if you put in the work, like you're gonna get the reward, and it might not always be what you think that it's going to be. Um,
Hmm.
but it always like it really always works out, and I there's just so many times I wish I could go back and just like tell myself like you are enough. I think it's so hard with like girls and dancing, like I said, and I'm sure in cheer too.
Hmm.
Like anytime there's mirrors involved, like you're just looking at
Hmm.
yourself all day, and it's like you're picking yourself apart. And that was like I think one of my biggest struggles is just constantly like just feeling like I'm not enough. And so I wish I could go back and just tell myself, especially as an only child, like you are enough, like
Uh-huh.
it's all gonna work out. Like you just have to trust, you just have to believe, and like I said, just like put in the work, you know.
Yeah.
But
Wow, that
also,
is really inspiring, actually. That's so
like
cool.
also
I
listening
love
to
that.
your body and like when enough is enough, like it's
Yeah. My
like
gosh. Yeah, I could imagine with the
yeah,
injuries.
like you know when you've had enough and you know when you need to like back down and like that's okay. Like it's okay to rest.
Hmm. The world isn't gonna end.
Yes, yes, that is another big one. I wish I could tell myself, like, it's okay to rest. You're gonna be okay. Like you said, the world is not gonna end. Like, you need to rest, and it is okay to do that.
Mhm. Yeah, so important. I think that's something that, I mean, I know a couple people that are very much like that, where they tend to like kind of push themselves, like, and they don't quite know like their limit, or they'll push themselves past it. So that really is like important advice, like especially for like preventing injuries or things like that. Like, definitely important for
Yeah,
sure. Um, do you think you would give that same advice to anyone starting out dance?
yeah. I think when you're starting out, I think a big thing is for me finding a home, like a studio home, that will take care of your mental health and
Hmm.
cares about you because I think the first studio that I started at was very, very toxic and not a good place for a small child to be. I will say, like, in my adult life, I have done a lot of therapy and, like, a good amount of it has been on some of my dance experiences at that first studio. And I think like that is just such an important aspect of like taking care of like young minds. So like if it is like a kid or a child or even a 13 or 14-year-old that just like wants to start dancing, like finding a studio that
Hmm.
cares about your mental health and like cares about you is like just so important because those toxic places and I know I could like sit with I think you just kind of like you just know like you know when you walk in the doors like is this
Hmm.
somewhere that's gonna like take care of me or is this a place where like they just want to like have it their way and get you out the door to like be whatever be famous or whatever like that studio's end goal is like at the end of the day that's not what is important like what's important is like your mental health and I
Hmm.
don't think we talk about that like enough like especially when I was going through studio there was a lot of places that were not good places that are no
Hmm.
longer in business might I add like so
Hmm.
I think that's just a big piece of advice because at the end of the day like you'll get the technique that you need to get anywhere you go I think that, again, just like mental health is just so important to me. And I think, like, as a dancer, like, I wish more people advocated for that.
No, absolutely. Especially in those younger years, I feel like are so formative just to like how you grow up and your self-perception and your confidence. So if something like knocks that down, it can have such a huge impact. So um, I definitely hear what you're saying with that, for sure.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and hopefully, if there's any younger dancers that watch this podcast, they'll
Yes.
get to hear that from you. So that would be really cool if that's the case. Um, and last question as well that I'm gonna go ahead and ask is, what is your dream performance?
Ooh, that's so hard. I like to, like, if there's so many dream performances, I think. But I like to say, like, if I could go back and kind of like tell myself to slow down a little bit, maybe after college, like I would have done like an NFL dance team, like even if it was just for a year
Ooh.
or 2 years, like just to say that like I had that experience. Like if I had one regret, like that's probably what it is, because I don't know that I was ready to be done when I was ready to be done competing, but maybe not like putting on the cute outfits and holding pom poms. Like I definitely
Mm-hmm.
think that I maybe missed out on that a little bit. So I think like my dream performance would probably be to do that like, and I love football, so like be on the just like the sidelines for even just like one NFL game. Which is if I could just like go back.
Ooh.
But also, I think after watching the Taylor Swift documentary, I was like, it's such a fun show to like be a part of as a dancer. Like so fun, and I love how she like treats her dancers and everything. Like I think that's so cool. So
Wow.
probably be,
That would be very cool, actually.
yeah.
Maybe we should go ahead and send her a message. Hey, do you need an extra backup dancer?
I promise I'll get my.
If only she was more available.
I know, I know. Yeah.
That's so cool. Um, is there anything else that you would like to say or that you'd like to add before we finish up for today?
I don't think so. Like, thank you so much for having me. I think, like dance in general is just so big now, and I think it's so amazing because when I was going through as a kid and, even in high school and college, like, it was like a tenth of how big it is now. And I think it's so amazing to see
Mhm.
just like all of the excitement around it now, especially like the UVA College Nationals, because like I know GCU goes and like they do amazing every year, and I just think it's so awesome. And I think at the end of the day, like I really truly like in my heart just like hope and pray that the next step is that with all of this excitement around dance that these college athletes like do get NCAA recognized, because I think
Mhm.
that is like such a shortfall that we have right now. Um, so yeah, I mean, I'm just like super excited and happy to talk about it because I feel like even though it's been 10 years, I could still talk about it all day.
That's so cool.
So yeah, thank you so much for having
That's
me.
awesome. Yeah, of course. And just like talking to you too, I can just like hear in your voice like how passionate about it that you are. And
Yeah,
it's just like something that I'm also passionate about as well. So it's cool to like talk to somebody who kind of shares that same like love for it as well. But yeah, thank you so much for today. I'll let you go now. But
thank you for
yeah,
having me.
thank you. Of course. Well, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you truly enjoyed this. Jordan was such a joy to talk to, and I loved hearing about her experience. If you did enjoy it, feel free to subscribe and follow along, and we'll have more episodes like this coming soon.